Hey, what's up and welcome back. If you are familiar with my channel, you do understand that I do like to travel. I like to walk the walk, as Luke's Points and Miles would say, with my travel redemptions, and I also travel for work. So, one thing that I think people have been curious about, and I figured I would share with you guys, is all my statuses on both land and in the air. So, stick around after my co star does her thing, and we will jump right into it.
Welcome back to my dad's channel. If you're new here, make sure to click that like button and subscribe, and don't forget to share.
So, first things first, let's get into the statuses in the air. I fly a lot, or at least more than the average bear. So, it would stand to reason that I do have some statuses. And I've actually collected statuses at all three major carriers domestically, and some by different routes than others, even though everyone knows to be a Delta loyalist. So speaking of Delta, that is going to be the first status that we're going to talk about. I am a gold medallion member on Delta Airlines, and frankly, it is worth its weight in actual gold. I've received numerous seat upgrades, including upgrades from comfort to first class, and in some cases from economy to first class. And I've gotten them in Atlanta, which is a major Delta hub. And I've actually gotten more than a few in Atlanta and at other Delta hubs. So that kind of sticks a pin into some of the talking points about status saturation, especially with business travelers such as myself. Now, that status gets me some great benefits like a $40 discount on a clear membership. I get Hertz President Circle status if I wanted it, but I mean, I can get that a couple of other different ways as well. I am entitled to the SkyTeam Elite Plus service level when I travel internationally. I also get free check bags, Sky Priority status automatically, and they handle my bags with a little more expeditious energy than they do others. So, all in all, pretty good status. Now, next up, we have United Airlines. And with them, I'm actually a premier gold level member. Now, you guys don't hear me talk about United because I haven't flown them. So my normal running status is actually Premier Silver, which I match from my Marriott status, but I was actually able to sign up for a status match, and because of my Delta Gold status, United has actually offered me a status challenge to maintain Premier Gold, which also gives me Star Alliance Gold for my trip on Lufthansa in January. So I couldn't say no. Now, for the status challenge, I actually have to earn 8 PQFs and 2,600 PQPs. Now, if you're not familiar with that, you can please feel free to check out my video about all the airline statuses. I'll link them here. But as a small explanation, it's basically flying segments plus money spent on United. So I just have to do that before January 1st, and I can actually maintain Premier Gold status and use the Star Alliance Gold status on my international trip, which should get me into the Senator's Lounge in Frankfurt when I fly Lufthansa. So I'm really looking forward to that. But other than that, Premier Gold status actually gets me a few other benefits as well. Like, once again, I get $40 off of a clear membership. I get 2 free check bags, and both of them could be up to 70 pounds a piece, which is more than Delta. And also, it can afford me a match to Avis Preferred Plus membership, which is their middle of the road membership, if I wanted to do rental cars through Avis. Now, moving on to the last of the big three, American Airlines. I actually have American Airlines Platinum status. So you're probably asking yourself once again, if you only fly Delta, how are you getting status with all these other carriers? Well, before I just had regular status, but I was a part of a targeted email set so that once I clicked the button, I instantly got platinum, and I once again have 3 months to satisfy a challenge in order for me to retain platinum. Now, platinum is actually the second rung up after gold. So you're in the status sphere and you start getting some benefits with American and the One World Alliance, such as Sapphire level One World privileges, which actually grants you access to business lounges all across the board. In addition to that, you get priority check-in, a bonus on your points that you get. Another thing, American Airlines, while they're not my favorite, actually has the simplest program to use, and you can also link it to your World of Hyatt account as well. So now that we got air travel out of the way, once we get to our destination, we got to sleep somewhere, right? We have to rest our heads somewhere. So let's get into my hotel statuses. So, very first and foremost, I do have Hilton status. I have Diamond status, which is the highest status that you can get. And I actually earned it, and it has rolled over for me over multiple years. Now, pretty much you hear a lot about Hilton in the community because it's a pretty decent status to have, even though it is greatly available. But just in case you're not familiar, here's some of the perks of Hilton status. Now, when you have Diamond status, you actually get access to lounges at Hilton hotels where available. You get premium Wi-Fi, and then also, depending on how many nights you stay, if you stay 60 nights while you have Diamond status, you can actually gift gold status to someone else. And if you stay 100 nights within a year while you have Diamond status, you can actually gift Diamond status to someone else. So status gifting is pretty cool. So that is it for my Diamond status with Hilton. Next up, we have Marriott Bonvoy. Now, I've been a member of this, and Marriott's actually my preferred hotel. And with that, I actually have Marriott Titanium Elite status. Now, my Bonvoy business card through American Express actually helped me get that with the 15 Elite nights. And I've been, staying nights to actually maintain it. It is great status, and it actually afforded me my United Premier Silver status without me ever having to step on a plane. And that is huge because airline status is not passed out lightly. Now, some benefits I get with that is select suite upgrade per availability, meaning that when I get there, if I get an upgrade, it doesn't have to be a room in my same class. I can actually get automatically upgraded to a suite. Now, just like Hilton Diamond status, some of these statuses are attainable via credit cards. Most of the time with the Marriott program, you're going to get a platinum status, which is pretty much the sweet spot in the program. Titanium's just a step above because you can status match, and then you're entitled to gifts when you get there, such as points, breakfast, or what Marriott would list as an amenity. But basically, it's just something from one of their stores. If they have it in the hotel, they'll give you a free item. But other than that, Titanium Elite status has been pretty good to me. Now, next up, we have Hyatt, of which I have Explorer status. Now, I got that status via status match through MGM, while Hyatt and MGM still had their working relationship. And that's because of my MGM Gold status. But that's not worth mentioning here because I don't stay there as often as possible. But basically with the Hyatt status, you get 5 points per dollar spent at Hyatt locations. Plus you get a 20% bump if you make qualifying purchases. Guarantees you late checkout, special check-in, and premium internet. And that's pretty much it. It's actually kind of sparse. You really don't get into the meat of the Hyatt program until you get to Globalist. Then it starts opening up things where you can really start capturing some value. You also get room upgrades, but not room upgrades into suites if you book a standard room. Now with IHG, I actually have Gold Elite status, which used to be Platinum, but unfortunately I have not stayed at any IHG properties in over 18 months. So my status was actually downgraded from Platinum, which is a pretty big jump. In the IHG program, Platinum is going to be your sweet spot, but with Gold, you get a few benefits. And I can list those. You get a 40% bonus for spending as a Gold member on IHG stays. You get, rollover nights. You can roll status over the next year. You get rollover nights that could help, especially if you're on a status hunt and you're at the wrong time, the wrong part of the year. And then you also get milestone achievements. So stay X amount of nights, you get this bonus and that bonus, but that's pretty much it. And to round it out, I actually have a membership with Choice Hotels, which I've earned plenty of points, which have actually expired because once again, I have not stayed there in at least 18 months. But one thing I have to tell you about Choice Hotels is that one of the nicest Choice Hotels I stayed in was actually the Cambria in East Orange. So if anybody knows, if Luke's Points and Miles is listening, you definitely want to check out a Cambria property under Choice. You will not be sorry. It's actually one of the nicest hotels really I stayed at when I was up in that area. It's actually better than some of the Hiltons and the Marriotts that I stayed at. So that is definitely worth mentioning. And one thing about Choice is I am actually just a regular member. So I do not have any real benefits as far as choices, but I did have them, so I thought I'd mention it here. So in the final category, we've flown to a place. We got somewhere to rest, but how are we going to get there? I mean, maybe Uber is everywhere, but I don't think Uber is everywhere. So you got to rent a car. Here are my car rental statuses. Now, beginning in the list, we have national rent-a-cars. Now, these are exclusively located at airports. You're not going to find one off-site on an airport, and they are partnered with Enterprise, which has a separate, rewards program, but I like the national one because it's pretty easy to use to get free rentals. So with that, I am actually an executive level with national, which allows me to basically walk into the executive area, pick any car, and it's pretty convenient. And in addition to that, there's no fees for a second driver, and I have a guaranteed one class upgrade as long as I rent something full size or bigger. Now, next up, I have Hertz. And my status with Hertz is actually President Circle. Now, I got that by virtue of having a platinum card. When they made the change, got in contact with Hertz, and I now have President Circle status. So what does that get me? That gives me 1.5 points per dollar spent when I rent from Hertz. And once again, there's no second driver fees. And then in addition to that, if you go on the Hertz website, you'll actually see that they have a chart basically telling you exactly how many points you're going to earn based on your rental time and class. So it's really convenient for you if you want to plan out how many points you want to get from Hertz Rentals. So I would highly suggest you check that out. And last but not least, we have Avis, and with Avis, I am actually a Preferred Plus member. What that gets me is 1.25 points per dollar spent on Avis Rentals, and in addition to that, I get a guaranteed one class car upgrade as long as I rent something midsize or higher, and that is pretty much it. Now with them, I got this status based on rentals that I was making when I was working for another subcontracting company early last year. That's pretty much how I got status with them, and it still remains because also, even though I don't rent with them, I can actually maintain that Preferred Plus status via having my Amex Platinum card. That's pretty much it. I just wanted to share with you guys all my statuses because I watch a lot of videos and I realize that people mention what statuses they have in passing or if they have specific statuses that they're hunting for. But no one actually tells you all the statuses they have. Now, like I said before, if you're familiar with the channel, you know I travel a lot for work and I like to travel for pleasure, walking the walk and such. So why not share my classes with you guys? Now, understand a lot of these things come up where you can do status matches. You definitely want to keep an eye out for that. And most status matches that I've found, I've really only gotten a few emailed to me as targeted emails, but most of them I found is literally by just looking at the program on the website, because almost every single one of them are partnered with something else. So it's definitely worth a look, worth a check. I'm still interested in how the MGM Bonvoy thing's gonna go once MGM gets their cybersecurity all buttoned up. So let's see what's going to happen with that. And I will be keeping my eyes out for any other status challenges and status matches that I have. And maybe, as things change, we'll update this video. But those are all my statuses for now. If you stayed to the end, I totally appreciate you. And remember, please check out these videos here where I also make mention of status and actually how certain programs work. So I hope you enjoy those as well. I didn't want to take too much of your time. So without anything further, I'll catch you later.